From the heart of the Space City to the heart of Gen Z, welcome to Next Gen Conversation. Not Dad's Talk Radio. Ethan talks to you about the issues and events that matter to our generation. This is the Next Gen Report with Ethan Buchanan.
Hey, good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be with you. I'm Ethan Buchanan. This is the Next Gen Report. If you tuned into your radio this afternoon thinking, I can't wait to hop in my car, drive around, and listen to some nice, happy-go-lucky talk radio, this is not for you. This episode will not be for you. Now, normally this show is. Normally, I like to have fun on this show. I like to enjoy myself. I like to joke around. I try not to get too serious on this show, because that can be a slippery slope. If you get too serious in your day-to-day life, you start to lose the joy in life and just get wrapped up in your various political woes. That can be a pretty dark path. So I don't try to do that on this show. However, due to circumstances beyond my control, it is necessary that we take a very, very, very deep dive into some things that are very wrong with Western culture, with Western society. I think a couple of things that you'll want to keep at the front of your mind over the course of the next hour or so as we're here together. Think about George Floyd. And that's something I say almost never, because I think George Floyd was a career criminal who was a horrible person and overdosed by his own poor choices and does not deserve to be remembered or hailed as a hero. But today, George Floyd has worked his way back into relevance. I want you to remember, all the way back to 2020, all of the things that we were told about George Floyd and about his death and were expected to believe. Not only were we expected to believe these things about George Floyd, it was demanded. It was demanded of us that we believe that George Floyd was just some innocent person who was targeted by the police because of his skin color and died in their custody because of outright racism. That's what was told. That was demanded that you believed it. And if you questioned it even for a moment, you were a terrible person. You were a racist. You were the worst of the worst. People lost jobs and careers over this. And on top of that, America nationally burned for months. People died. Riots came about as a result of the George Floyd narrative. People were killed. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked and took 3 lives in self-defense. All because of George Floyd. That's where all of this started. And we had global outrage over George Floyd. Billions of dollars of property damage across the United States. And it was all a lie. All of it. It was a complete fabrication. Everything you were told about George Floyd was BS. He didn't die because the officer was kneeling on his neck. He overdosed on fentanyl. The autopsy shows that. He wasn't targeted because he was black. He was arrested. He was detained because he tried to pass a fake $20 bill. That's counterfeiting. Everything you were told about George Floyd was a lie, and yet we had literal global outrage over his death. Now we have a case out of the UK. And this case out of the UK is everything that you were told George Floyd was, but it actually is all of those things in truth. It's not some lie. It's not some fabricated nonsense that was cooked up in the early days of 2020 so we can unsettle the nation and get people uncomfortable with Donald Trump and get him voted out, which is what George Floyd was. This is an actual case of an actual person who is dead today specifically because of racial policies, racial policing. And the only reason it isn't getting global outrage is because the victim is a white man. I want you to just let that sink in for a minute. I mean, we had literally every country, every company, literally every person on the planet was expected to pay tribute in some form or fashion to George Floyd or the black community or what have you, because of a long series of lies that was made up largely for just political motivation. That was really what the end goal was. People to this day still don't recognize that. The only reason you know George Floyd's name is because the radical left wanted Donald Trump out of office, and they could use George Floyd as a way to whip up radicals and whip up chaos and get Donald Trump pushed out of office, because they can pin all of that on him somehow. And that's what happened. If you were around then, you remember it. And then now we have a case where this happened for real. And there's a good chance, if you're not active on Twitter, you don't even know who this guy is. His name is Henry Noack. He was an 18-year-old from the UK who was killed in Southampton by a Sikh. Not some other British person, some third worlder that had, I guess, more rights than he did, because Henry was just some lowly native of the United Kingdom. He's not a special protected immigrant. And we have to protect the Sikhs because they're brown. This is the logic that was applied in actual policy in the UK. And now a young man is dead because of it. Again, everything they told you George Floyd was, everything they told you happened to George Floyd actually happened for real this time. And you're not allowed to get upset about it. Make no mistake here. If you're upset about this now, it's because you're racist. You're not allowed to be upset because this happened to a white guy. And we're not supposed to care about the white people. When they're racially discriminated against, we have to pretend it's not happening. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about this because it's important. Even though it happened on the other side of the world, it's important because it's the perfect example of everything the radical left wants and is pushing for even here in the United States. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of the Next Gen Report in just a minute. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Next Gen Report. We're not going to have a lot of time to promote a whole lot today, but I want to make sure I do promote two things that are very important. First of all, if you are not on X, normally I would say X is just a good place to be. I think these days you really do have to be on X. There is not a better news aggregator. There is not a place where the stories you need to hear that the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. There's not a place where they spread better than on X. So if you're not on X, go create an X account. If you're creating that X account or you're already on X, in the process, follow me at _Ethan Buchanan, BUCHANAN. It just really helps out the show. It helps me out. I would really appreciate it. And I've got a lot of great content on there for you. Also, I want to ask you to support my show sponsor, Deus Vult Lapel Pins. That's DEUSVULT lapelpins.com. This is a great Christian Texas-based business. They've got a number of beautiful lapel pins that will make your suit jackets just look so much better. They've even got car decals. They've got a number of other accessories, some leather goods. They've even got neckties that are just gorgeous looking. I haven't tried any of them yet. I haven't bought any, but just the pictures of them look beautiful. And all of the products that they sell on DeusVultLapelPins.com are just quality pieces. So check them out. Use the promo code NEXTPIN2026. You'll be supporting the show and you'll get 10% off your order. All right, let's talk about this case of Henry Noack. And again, this would be nowhere if it wasn't for X. This is an 18-year-old who was, as far as I can tell, just walking home one evening, and he was murdered by some Sikh guy in Southampton, UK. Breitbart has the story, gives a little bit more detail. Sikh murderer of handcuffed teen Henry Noack jailed for life. A British judge has handed down a life sentence to the murderer of 18-year-old student Henry Noack, who police arrested even as he bled to death because they believed the knife man's accusations of racism and not the victim's dying pleas. And we'll get into all the details here over the course of this show, but here's what you need to understand. This guy who murdered this teenager immediately threw up his hands and cried racism, and the police believed him, even as his 18-year-old victim bled out on the ground in front of them. Police were treating this random Sikh man as the victim because he pinky promised that he had been the victim of racism. And they just immediately assumed he was telling the truth and ignored the pleas for aid from a man who was bleeding out right in front of them. Vikram Digwa, 23, was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 21 years. Let me stop you right there. Is it a life sentence or is it not? It's a life sentence on paper, but in reality, he only has to serve about 21 years before he can get out. And I have to guess that if they can get away with it, the authorities in the UK will let him out even earlier. I bet you he does 10 years, if not less. With the judge saying in his sentencing remarks that the killer Digwa had told many wicked lies and conspired to cover up his slaying even while police were listening. And we'll get into the lies. I've got them recorded. We're going to play them together. We're going to listen. But even now, we know for a fact this man was not a victim of racism. He was not being racially abused by this poor boy, who he murdered in cold blood, as far as I can tell. And this isn't even allegedly. He's been found guilty in a court of law, with the judge saying everything you told us and told the police as they let your victim bleed out was a lie. But the police believed him anyway. His victim, 18-year-old accountancy student Henry Noack, who was killed in the English city of Southampton in December. This is the other thing you need to understand. They buried this as long as they possibly could. Only now is this making headlines. December. This was as many as 7 months ago. During an encounter with Digwa on a dark street, he was stabbed several times with a Sikh ceremonial knife, including in the chest, face, groin, and the back of his legs. He attempted to escape, but members of Digwa's family soon arrived and detained him. Members of the killer's family prevented this boy from escaping and getting help after he had been stabbed multiple times. They called the police and reported Digwa's story, that Noack had racially abused him, and the killer's mother removed the murder weapon from the crime scene and stashed it at their family home. Now, what I want to get into real quick is the murder weapon. We've talked about this on the show in the past. In the United Kingdom, they have no right to self-defense. They have practically no weapons that they can carry on their person to keep themselves safe. I've talked about this before. Almost every time I leave the house, I have a gun on my person. Just in case I'm attacked or assaulted, I can defend myself or my wife or whoever I'm with at the time. In the UK, you can't do that. You can't even so much as have a pocket knife, which I never leave the home without, just because I'm in the habit. But virtually every single knife is completely illegal for the average citizen of the UK to carry. Even if you walk down the street with a just kitchen knife, you'll go to prison for that in the UK. Unless you're a Sikh. And then you get some special religious exemption. This is from The Guardian. This is a British outlet. I had to dig into what the laws were because I'm not overly familiar. A kirpan is a ceremonial sword or dagger that is one of 5 articles of faith for practicing Sikhs. Under UK law, a person can possess a kirpan for religious, ceremonial, sporting, or historical reasons. But like any bladed article, a kirpan can become an offensive weapon if used unlawfully. So, just in summary here, While the average citizen of the UK is not allowed to carry so much as a 5-inch pocket knife that locks into place for their own defense, or just for average everyday utility, a Sikh is allowed to claim some magic religious exemption, and they can carry whatever the hell they want so long as they say, oh, yes, this is my kirpan. I have religious exemption. Just so we all understand the situation here, the UK government has disarmed its own citizens while allowing third world immigrants and invaders to carry weapons. In the UK, if you are a natural born Englishman, if you are a blood and soil Anglo-Saxon, a Briton in the truest sense of the word, you cannot carry so much as a large knife. But if you show up on a boat 30 minutes ago and claim a religious exemption, you can carry a knife in the UK. Do you understand how backwards that is? Do you understand how morally disgusting that is? This is not just a political issue. This is a moral issue. I am a firm believer in the moral right and duty that a person has to defend themselves and others. But yet in the UK, that right is stripped from you by your own government, while they instead give it to a foreigner who will kill you in the street and then cry racism baselessly. This should piss you the hell off. Even if you're not in the UK, and I'm not, thank Christ. I'm an American in the greatest city, in the greatest state, in the greatest country on this earth. But I have enough common sense to look across the pond at what's happening to my British cousins and realize they're pushing the same damn policies here. This is where the stripping away of the Second Amendment leads. First, it's the guns. Then it's the large knives. Then it's the little knives. And then, we don't want to religiously discriminate against the brown folks, so we have to allow the kirpans. That's what the left wants for every country. And they got it in the UK. God help them. They got it in the UK. We're going to dig into what the results have been in the next couple of segments. I've got so much. We'll be right back. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, one more time I want to ask you, if you're in a place to do so, if you're not actively driving your car right now, I want to ask you to go follow me on X and get active on X, just so you can stay up to date, so you can catch wind of stories like this that the global left-wing cabal will do their damnness to bury for 6 to 7 months before it finally breaks through the surface on X, thanks to Elon Musk. Again, if it were not for the X platform, we would not know about this. We just wouldn't. All right. We've talked a lot about the case of Henry Nowak. I want to actually show you some of the details. I want you to be able to say you have some firsthand knowledge of this. The reason this really all exploded is because finally, after 7 months of people pushing for it, things like the 911, or I guess it's 999 there in the UK is their emergency number. That phone call that was made to police was finally released, as well as the body cam of the officers. So what we were able to deduce and assume from court documents, court filings, and things of that nature over the last several months, it has finally been confirmed by the actual firsthand sources, by the actual official data. So here it is. I'm going to play you the phone call from the people who murdered Henry Nowak to the British police, and you are going to hear a number of flat-out lies. And then I'm going to show you the body cam footage. And it is going to piss you the hell off. So again, this is your warning. We're dealing with graphic subject matter. You're going to hear, and if you're watching, you're going to see things that are fairly graphic. I'm going to do my best with the censor button when necessary, but I make no promises. This is disturbing material, and you should be disturbed. Because again, this is what they want, and by they I mean the radical global left. This is what they want for you. Take a listen to this phone call.
Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
All right, now there it is right out the gate, the first lie. We just got attacked racially by some white person. He knew at the time that that was a lie. He openly lied to the police in order to cover up for the fact that he just stabbed a boy.
Okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
Again, a lie. He never attacked his brother. It never happened.
You're talking about verbally or physically?
No, he physically attacked my brother. We're Sikhs. We wear a turban, and he's just attacked my brother.
He's just attacked my brother. Physically, racially. He knew at the time. This is the brother of the killer that's talking right now. Everything he's saying, he knows to be a lie, even in this very moment that you're hearing it.
Have any weapons been involved?
No. No. What did he say to you?
Have any weapons been involved? No. Again, an open lie. He knows damn well that his brother, on whose behalf he's calling the police right now, has stabbed this boy with his kirpan. But when the authorities asked, have any weapons been involved, he flat out lies to them. No. There have been no weapons. He knows there's been a weapon, damn it.
Oh, who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, look, bro, you're drunk, carry on, walk on. Then I was there, he goes, oh, who do you think I'm a bad man? I was like, bro, look, I'm a bad man. What? I'm speaking with you.
Gopri, what did he say? Was he racially abusive?
The police need a report. Come here. Yeah, he was. So basically, he stumbled into my brother.
Yeah.
So do you want to speak to my brother?
No, you carry on. He stumbled into him, and then what did he do?
Okay. So he stumbled into you, and then what?
Yeah, so he's walked into me and stumbled. He's drunk. I've clearly said to him, look, mate, you're drunk. Carry on about your day. Do what you need to do.
And then what?
Then he goes to me, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
He goes, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to my brother? And then what?
All right, so he makes the claim there that he was drunk and he bumped into him and then he got aggressive. And that actually is a fairly believable lie. Because everybody has seen someone who has a few too many and gets a little bit disorderly and maybe aggressive. So on its face, this is a very believable lie. He was drunk and he bumped into me and it just escalated from there. And then it got racial and then he attacked me and then I had to stab him in self-defense. That was the claim he made in court. But here's the thing. We now know he wasn't drunk at all. That was a lie. He was never racially attacked. That was a lie. And even if all of that wasn't a lie, why in the hell is he lying to the police right now when they say there was no weapon involved?
And then he goes, oh, you're this, you're that. Who do you think you're a bad man? I was like, yeah, I'm a bad man. What? Then he starts recording me. Right. As he's recording me, I snatched his phone. He's then laid a punch onto me. He's pushed me back and my turban's come off. He started then grabbing my head. So I then grabbed him and then he started pushing me, attacking me even further and everything like that.
At the minute now he's lying on the floor. He was trying to get away. He jumped over some bins and stuff on the other neighbour side. He jumped over the bins and tried to leave through the bin way. He's left a shoe here as well.
So he doesn't have any injuries?
He's hurt his face. I think he's fallen because when he tried to climb over the bin, he's fallen from the one side of the bins over the gates to the other side.
So he makes the claim here, his only injury is he's hurt his face because he fell. Now, he was stabbed in the face, so his face is hurt. But this guy completely omits the fact that he knows at the time that this boy has been stabbed multiple times. Multiple times. And he knows that. And the cops ask, is he injured? And the Sikh says, no, he wasn't injured, which is a lie.
I think he needs medical attention.
Does he need medical attention, you reckon? He will, yeah, I believe, yeah.
Just to
That's the first true thing they've said this entire phone call. Yeah, he will need medical attention, I think.
confirm, no one's seen any weapons.
No.
No one has seen any weapons. He knows while he's on the phone that there was a weapon involved. He knows that his brother stabbed someone with this weapon. He knows, presumably, that his mother has now taken this weapon from the crime scene and gone to hide it. Again, these are undisputed facts. And they just lied about them on the phone with this police officer. This is disgusting. And bear in mind, the only person that has faced any legal repercussions is the one Sikh that actually did the murdering. But there was at least 2 other Sikhs that did some aiding and abetting. They haven't received any consequences for any of this. This one guy, his brother, that's on the phone lying to the police through his teeth, has faced no repercussions. His mother, who took the knife that he stabbed the boy with and went and hid it, removed it from the crime scene and hid it, has faced no repercussions for that. Where I come from, that's all aiding and abetting. That's filing a false police report. That's aiding and abetting. That's conspiracy. That's any number of crimes. But in the UK, all they've done is charge this one guy who actually held the knife and stabbed him, even though multiple other people were involved in this crime. This is despicable. I want to play you, we're not going to have time probably for all of it in this segment, but I want to play you some of the body cam footage because this is what really set people off. And it's going to set me off too, I'm telling you right now. If you're just listening on the radio, just listen in and then go back on the X page and watch. We're recording everything right now. The live broadcast is being taped and we'll put it all up so you can see it on X. This is the body cam footage. Police are walking up to the crime scene.
My dad's holding him. He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up.
Alright.
He's got a mouth full of blood. I don't want him.
He was on the bin on the other side of this gate.
He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And
Right.
he's up
Move
here.
away, mate.
He's obviously fallen
Right.
from there and he slipped from there.
His other shoe is left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
That's the first time you hear it. You barely hear it because he's so weak. They walk up, he's surrounded by these Sikhs, and he's sitting there crumpled in a corner, and he tells the police, "I've been stabbed." You'd be forgiven if you missed it. He barely said it audibly, because presumably by this time he's been bleeding out for several minutes. And they walk it, and these guys immediately are on the cops going, "This is what happened. This is what happened. He was clambering about. He was trying to escape, and we got him." And he's just on the ground cradling himself because he's bleeding out. This is despicable. I don't have time to play you the rest of this in this segment, so I want you to stay tuned. The real bad stuff we haven't even gotten to yet. The worst of the worst. Again, everything they told you about George Floyd, a helpless person who died in police custody because of police negligence or racism or what have you. All of that is actually true in this case. I'm going to prove it to you with the body cam footage in just a moment. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to continue playing the body camera footage from the police that were responding to the murder of Henry Nowak. Again, a lot of this is fairly graphic. I mean, it's not super visually appalling, but it is very emotionally appalling. I mean, you're not going to see blood and guts everywhere if you're watching, but you will see a boy in his final moments dying right there for the world to see. So here it is. This is just after the police arrived. They've just been told for the first time by Henry that he'd been stabbed and he was bleeding out. Take a listen to what happens.
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off. Started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruises.
Right.
He's got a swollen eye, a little bit of bruising. You can see in the body, there's nothing wrong with this guy. I've got a swollen eye, a little bit of bruising. No, you don't. We can see it right there. Your eye's fine.
Just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down. Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
He's flopped on the ground. I've been stabbed. And they just grab him by the belt and start hauling him across the gravel.
Grab his other arm.
I can't breathe. I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed.
What's happened to you, right? You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
I don't think you have, mate. He's flopped on the ground saying, I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed. And the response from this cop as he grabs him by the belt and hauls him across the gravel, starts putting his hands behind his back to arrest him, is, I don't think you have, mate. You should be livid. I'm livid.
That's what, and then you've got nothing, I'm going to keep you up.
And out come the handcuffs.
Hand.
I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate. Yeah.
I can't breathe. Put the hand in the cuff, mate. So what we're seeing or listening to right now is he's literally flopped on the ground, bleeding out, telling the officers, I've been stabbed. I can't breathe. I'm bleeding out. And I don't think you've been stabbed. You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. Bleed out in these handcuffs, sir.
This is like
can't breathe.
times this has happened to us. You've been walking, you can't racist
90 foot.
nothing happened.
Of course, these Sikhs are still rambling about a racist attack that never happened.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think
him.
you've been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
All right, that right there is the most infuriating moment of this entire clip. Some lady cop is sitting there going, he says he's been stabbed, so we have to check, don't we? And the guy that just clapped the handcuffs on him goes, no, we don't got to check. We don't have to check and see if he's been stabbed. It's fine. He probably hasn't. Because remember, these guys said they were racially attacked, so this guy's just probably making crap up.
The face?
Just get these back off, get their details on that, and I'll keep hold of him.
Please, brother, I can't breathe.
Should we
Right, keep you on your side, mate.
Please, I can't breathe. And they're just going, no, stay on your side.
You better retrieve then.
Say again.
Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were set up when we had him here, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate?
Now, at this point, he's stopped responding completely. I don't know when exactly he died, but I have to imagine it's right about here. Because if you see it, I mean, his hands are deathly white. He's not saying anything to these cops anymore.
At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything, may harm in defence. If you do not mention when questioned, it's up to which you later line in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, all right? He's going to be sick, I think.
He's going to be sick. He's dead, dumbass. They're reading his Miranda rights. He's a corpse.
What's his name?
I just want you to call it.
Yeah, we've got this male. He's
Just-
been beat up. Are we able to get an ambulance, please?
They've finally called for an ambulance. They've been on the scene for 3 minutes. He's been telling them the whole time, I've been stabbed. And they've just now called for an ambulance. They still don't, for the record, believe he's been stabbed. You heard it from that lady. He's been beat up. No, he's been stabbed.
His pupils aren't even reacting.
His pupils aren't even reacting. Yeah, because he's dead, lady. He is dead. I think one of the best reactions to all of this has actually come from Nigel Farage. He's one of the right-wing conservative leaders, political leaders, one of the last ones left in the UK. Here's what he had to say about all of this. And I think this is frankly a fantastic statement from him. Take a listen.
He was actually treated in a way that meant an accusation of a racial slur was treated more seriously than an act of murder. What does he say? I can't breathe. Familiar words? Remember, career criminal George Floyd, who died in appalling circumstances in Midwest America a few years ago. Remember the reaction to that and the way the police behaved. Within a few days, Keir Starmer was taking the knee. Black Lives Matter exploded all over the country. Churchill's statue was defaced. The cenotaph was vandalized. And yet, what has the public reaction been from our leaders and politicians? And indeed, to be frank, much of the media to this. Silence. Absolute silence. Proof, if ever there was any, that we're living in a two-tier culture in this country where the rights and privileges of white people matter less than those of ethnic minorities.
And he's exactly right. I mean, that's what we just saw all together. We all watched as the accusation of racism by these Sikhs was immediately believed. Immediately, without question. Without question. They didn't even for a moment think that these Sikhs could have been lying. They immediately assumed they said they were racially attacked. That means it happened. Oh, this guy says he's been stabbed and he's bleeding out. I don't believe him because these guys say they were racially attacked. That's what happened in this case. This is a prime example of why so many people are just sick of the BS. We've seen this more and more and more, particularly in my generation, the younger millennials and the Gen Z. We just don't give a damn anymore. Call us racist all you want, because the left throws that term around every 5 minutes. Anything they don't like is racist. Anytime they need a justification for anything, up to including murder, it's racism. So we don't care. We're sick of it. We are not just going to sit here and allow ourselves to be stabbed and bleed out and die in the name of your feelings and defeating racism. We're not doing it. The racism allegation has become the super weapon of the left ever since the 1960s. And the damage it has done to Western society has been unparalleled. And it's even worse. As bad as it is here, it's even worse in the UK. Thankfully, people have responded. People are speaking up. People are pushing back against this. We had full-on riots in the UK over this case yesterday. And, you know, in years past, I might have said, don't protest violently, be peaceful, or what have you. At this point, screw it. This is moral grounds for a complete revolution in the United Kingdom, and I truly believe that. The government of the United Kingdom has turned against its people and their rights in favor of a foreign invader. It has no more legitimacy in my eyes. So whatever means the actual British people take in order to protect themselves and their rights, go for it. God bless you. My message to the British people is Godspeed. I hope it all works out. I'm behind you. I'm watching with great intent. God bless the British people, and God bless this poor victim of one of the most heinous acts of murder I've ever seen in my life. This has been the Next Gen Report. I'm Ethan Buchanan. Thank you very much for listening.